Salam and greetings, Storytime friends. How are you all today? It's time for another story. Are you ready? Come on, let's go. Our story for today is called Zach and His Good Intentions by J. Samia Mayer and illustrated by Omar Burgess. What a terrible day, Zach thought as he stared out the window of his room. No matter how hard he tried, everything was going wrong. Zach looked at his sister Hana, who was outside helping their mother in the garden. They were laughing and having fun. It's all Hana's fault, he said to himself. Hana and her good deeds. Zach started thinking about all that had happened that day. Zach had woken up to the smell of freshly baked chocolate chip cookies that morning. His father then came into Zach's room and told him that they were going swimming after lunch. Zach couldn't wait for the day to begin. He jumped out of bed and ran down the stairs to the kitchen. "See you in a few minutes," Hannah said as she closed the kitchen door that led to the patio. She was carrying a paper plate full of cookies. "Where is Hannah going?" Zach asked. "Hannah has decided to see how many good deeds she can do today. She's taking some cookies to Mrs. Wilson," Mama said. "Good deeds? I can do that." Zach quickly put some cookies on a paper plate. "I'm taking these to Ahmed's house," he said as he left. Zach was so excited to earn a good deed that he started jogging down the street. The closer he got to Ahmed's house, the faster he went. By the time he reached the post box, he was running. Then something terrible happened. Zach tripped on a bump in the sidewalk and lost his balance. His arms flailed wildly in the air and the cookies went flying. He fell and landed in a huge pile of dirt. The cookies scattered everywhere. "There goes that good deed," he said to himself. Zach walked through the kitchen door covered with dirt. The cookies were filthy and broken. "What happened to you?" asked his mother. "Things didn't go as I planned," Zach said, throwing the cookies in the bin and heading upstairs to wash. "Hannah, Zach, have you seen our cat, Miss Ginger?" their mother called. "I haven't seen her since last night." I'll find her, Mama. It will be another good deed," Hannah said, dashing out the front door. "Not if I find her first," Zach said, heading straight for the tree in the neighbor's yard. "Here, Miss Ginger, here, Miss Ginger," Zach called out as he approached the neighbor's tree. He heard a familiar meow. The cat was high up in the tree and looked terrified. Zach reached his arms toward the cat, but the cat wouldn't budge. He started to climb the tree to get her. Then something terrible happened. "Yuck!" Zach screamed. He grabbed for a higher branch and sunk his hand into a big blob of sticky sap. When he quickly pulled his hand away from the sap, he got sap all over his face. His scream startled Miss Ginger, who scampered down the tree and headed straight for home. Zach jumped out of the tree and started to chase after the cat, but tripped on a pine cone and tumbled on the ground. Grass stuck all over his face where the sap had been. "There you are, Miss Ginger." Hannah picked up the cat and walked toward the house. "Mama, Mama, I found Miss Ginger," Hannah said as she opened the door. "There goes that good deed," Zach said to himself, pulling a blade of grass out of his mouth. Oh my, Zach's father said when he walked inside. What happened? Things didn't go anything like I had planned, Zach said. Baba, I have already done 2 good deeds today, Hana said. Good job, Hana, said her father. Why don't you do a third good deed and pour me a glass of iced tea? I'll be on the patio reading the paper, he said, closing the kitchen door behind him. Let me do, Zach said. Before he could say anything else, Hana had poured their father a glass of iced tea and was out the door. Hana, Hana, their mother called from upstairs, will you please water the front lawn? But first, move the spring. I'll do it, Zach answered and left the house before she had finished her sentence. He turned the outdoor tap all the way on and went back inside. At least this is one good deed that Hana can't ruin, he thought. Then something terrible happened. The kitchen door slammed open. Boom! Their father stood at the doorway, dripping with water from head to toe. He held a soggy newspaper under his arm and a glass of watered-down iced tea in the other. Who gave me a sprinkler shower? Zach's father screamed. Sorry, Baba, Zach said. He started stomping up the stairs to his room. There goes that good deed. What a terrible day, Zach thought as he stared out the window of his room. No matter how hard he tried, everything was going wrong. Zach looked at his sister, who was helping their mother in the garden. They were laughing and having fun. It's all Hannah's fault, he whispered to himself. Hannah and her good deeds. Zach decided to go outside. The sun was so hot now it had dried up all the water from the sprinkler. He plopped himself down on a patio chair. Nothing was turning out as he had planned. Hannah, would you hand me my garden gloves? They are in the pocket of my sweater, Mama said. Hannah reached in the pocket of her mother's sweater. I found a packet of gummy bears. May we eat them? Their mother hesitated at first. Okay, share them with your brother. There are 4 for you and 4 for me, she said, giving the sweets to Zach. Hannah ate her 4 quickly. Zach chewed slowly. He wasn't very hungry. Mama, do you want my last gummy bear? I don't want it, Zach said sadly. I want it, Hannah said while digging in the garden with a hand shovel. It would be a good deed, Zach thought for a moment. He hadn't earned a good deed all day. Okay, you can have it, Zach thought. Zach started to hand his last gummy bear to his sister. Then something terrible happened. Hannah pulled the shovel out of the ground to reach for the candy. A huge, wet, wriggly worm flew through the air and landed on top of Zach's head. As he shook his head and frantically ran his fingers through his hair to get it off, the gummy bear fell in the dirt. No one could eat it now. There goes that good deed, Zach said. I just can't get a good deed today, Zach said sadly. Mama smiled, but you did get a good deed. How can I get a good deed? I never gave my gummy bear to Hannah. But you intended to give it to her, their mother explained, and that's what counts. The Prophet Muhammad said that whoever intends to do a good deed but does not do it, it still gets a good deed for his or her intention. A big smile appeared on his face. That means I've done 4 good deeds today. 1 for intending to give cookies to Ahmed's family, 1 for intending to bring Miss Ginger back home, 1 for intending to water the front lawn, and one for intending to give Hana my last gummy bear. Is that a good deed? Is this a good deed? Their father yelled, running directly at them and waving the sprinkler in his hand. It's a hot day after all. Mama and Hana screamed and ran inside the house. Zach ran towards his father. What a great day, Zach thought, even if things didn't go anything like I had planned. Discussion points. Make good choices. Be resilient. Be flexible and keep learning. Assalamu alaikum, storytime friends. How are you doing today? Let's move on to our next story. And our story was called Zach and His Good Intentions, written by J. Samia Mayer and illustrated by Omar Burgess. Zach learns a valuable lesson about being good, doing good deeds, and having the intention to do so. He had some difficulty throughout the story, but he learned that when his intentions were pure and good, he was able to do what he needed to do. I hope you enjoyed this story. Let's go ahead and count down our days of fasting and our days until Eid. So come, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Today is our 26th fast, and let's count our days until Eid. Yesterday was 4, and today, as of today, my friends, we have 4 more days left until Eid. So until next time, see you soon. Assalamu alaikum.